Stop scrolling right now because a legend has just rolled back into the spotlight. The Toyota just brought back the J80, and this isn't some nostalgic badge revival. The 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser J80 is a full-circle moment for off-road fans. Who thought this icon was gone for good? This is the nameplate that built Toyota's global reputation for unstoppable durability. And now, it's back with modern engineering, wrapped in old-school toughness. You're watching the Car Review Hub, where we break down cars the way enthusiasts actually care about. No fluff, no blind hype. Just the real story. Trust me. This one deserves your full attention. Let's start at the back, because the rear of the new J80 makes a bold first impression. One glance, and you know this isn't a soft roader trying to look adventurous. The tail is upright, squared, and unapologetically functional. That wide tailgate looks ready to be slammed shut after loading camping gear, recovery boards, or tools not. Just shopping bags from the mall. The LED taillights stretch horizontally, giving it a wide planted stance that feels confident and stable. And yes, the rear-mounted spare wheel setup is a direct nod to classic Land Cruiser heritage. Park this next to something like the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado or even the Lexus GX. And the J80 feels more purposeful, less polished, more prepared. Let me ask you this, do you prefer your SUVs looking sleek and futuristic? Or do you want them to look like they're ready to cross a desert tomorrow? Now swing around to the left side, and the proportions tell the rest of the story. Toyota didn't round off the edges to chase aerodynamic numbers. The body is boxy, upright, and honest. Straight character lines, large glass area, flat panels. It's a shape designed for visibility and durability, not for flexing in front of a cafe. The pronounced wheel arches look like they're begging for chunky all-terrain tires, and the ground clearance suggests this isn't afraid of uneven trails. Compared to something like the Ford Bronco or the Jeep Wrangler, the J80 feels less like a lifestyle statement and more like a long-haul expedition tool. It's not flashy, it's serious. Can you picture yourself driving this across a Rocky Mountain pass instead of cruising city streets in a crossover? Over on the right side, the theme continues. Clean, functional, and solid. The doors look thick and substantial, built to handle years of dust, mud, and rough treatment. Roof rails aren't decorative chrome strips. They look like they're designed to carry actual weight roof tents, cargo boxes, maybe even a full overland setup. The flat roofline isn't about sporty styling. It's about maximizing headroom and cargo flexibility. Park it beside the Toyota Land Cruiser 300 or even the Land Rover Defender. And the J80 feels more mechanical, more analog in spirit. Less luxury flex, more long-term partner. Would you trust this SUV miles away from civilization with no cell signal? That's the real test. Now let's step inside, because this is where Toyota plays it smart. The interior of the 2026 J80 doesn't try to overwhelm you with futuristic gimmicks. Yes, you'll likely see a large digital driver display and a modern infotainment screen. But Toyota hasn't forgotten who this vehicle is for. Physical buttons are still here. Real knobs, solid switches, climate controls you can operate with gloves on, off-road settings that don't require digging through endless touchscreen menus, and that matters. Because when you're bouncing over rocks or navigating through mud, the last thing you want is a glossy screen demanding attention. The materials feel tough but refined. Durable fabrics and trims that can handle wear and tear without looking tired after a few years. Seating position, it's upright and commanding, exactly how an off-roader should feel. The seats are supportive for long-distance travel, not aggressively bolstered for sporty cornering. There's serious headroom thanks to that flat roofline, and the cargo area feels like it was designed for real equipment. This isn't a rolling luxury lounge like some high-end SUVs. It's more like a command center for adventure. Here's a question for you. Would you trade giant screens and ambient lighting for controls you can rely on when things get rough? Now let's talk about what truly defines a Land Cruiser: the engine and drivetrain. Toyota hasn't confirmed every global configuration yet, but we know the philosophy. Torque, reliability, longevity. Don't expect this to be about drag strip numbers. The J80 is built for crawling over rocks, towing heavy loads and surviving. Brutal terrain. Depending on the region, we could see a turbocharged gasoline engine. Possibly a hybrid-assisted setup for better efficiency and torque delivery. And maybe even a diesel option where demand remains strong. But no matter the engine, you can expect a proper four-wheel drive system, locking differentials, advanced traction management, crawl control. This is hardware designed to work when conditions get ugly. Compare that to something like the Toyota. For a runner, or even the newer Toyota Land Cruiser 250, and the J80 feels aimed at people who actually use their 4x4 systems regularly. It's less about Instagram off-road shots and more about real-world endurance. Be honest, how often do you actually engage four-wheel drive in your current SUV? And if you don't, would owning something like this inspire you to explore more? Pricing. This is where debates will start. The 2026 Land Cruiser J80 won't be cheap, but it's also not positioned as an ultra-luxury flagship. Expect it to sit somewhere between the Land Cruiser 250 and the 300 series in most markets. That means it will compete directly with higher-end trims of the Bronco and Wrangler. It's possibly even challenging premium off-road variants. But here's the key difference. Toyota's reputation for reliability and resale value is hard to ignore. A Land Cruiser isn't typically leased and forgotten. It's bought, modified, driven for years, and sometimes even passed down to the next generation. That long-term ownership story matters. Would you rather spend more upfront for something built to last decades? Or save money now and risk higher costs down the road? So what's the final verdict? The 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser J80 doesn't chase trends. It doesn't try to be the flashiest SUV in the parking lot. Instead, it doubles down on authenticity. In a world filled with crossovers that look rugged but rarely leave pavement, the J80 stands out by being unapologetically capable. It honors its heritage without being stuck in the past. It blends modern technology with mechanical honesty, and that balance is rare today. If you're someone who values durability, real-world capability, and a sense of purpose in your vehicle, this might be exactly what you've been waiting for. But I want to hear from you. Would you pick the new J80 over a Defender or Bronco? Do you think Toyota should keep building tough traditional SUVs like this, or fully embrace the crossover future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the return of a legend, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow the Car Review Hub for more honest, enthusiast-focused reviews of the cars that truly matter. We've got more exciting breakdowns coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.